Hello, everybody, and welcome to tonight's live stream. I am JD. I'm joined tonight by Matt. Hello, Matt. How's it going?
Hello, I'm doing all right, thank you. I've just realised, having done that, we're missing somebody. So apologies
We
while
are
I
missing
live
something.
while I live mess about with the stream. Here he is.
Hello.
Hey there. Hey there.
Hello. Yes, I was going to give us a little bit more of an introduction to our special guest for tonight, Matt, but I think you've kind of scuppered that.
Oh, sorry.
Welcoming Charles to the live stream tonight. And Charles, I think this is your first live stream, isn't it?
Yeah, it's my first appearance. Thank you for having me.
Welcome, and we hope it's a nice, pleasant live stream for you to join us on. I'm really excited for this one. I think it's going to be a good one, and really excited for Creators Club as well. So I suppose, just by way of introduction, Charles, can you tell us a little bit about yourself, what you do at Dovetail, and why we might have brought you onto this particular live stream where we're talking Creators Club?
Yeah, absolutely. I'm Charles. Nice to meet you. I run the Dovetail Live products within Dovetail Games, and I'm excited to be here today to be able to show off the Creators Club to everybody. Products that has been in the making for long enough, and we're eager to get out to the public.
I'm going to ask you how long enough is, just because I think it's probably important for everybody to understand how much work and kind of effort has gone into making kind of what we've got to the point where what we're going to be showing tonight, obviously, but obviously what the infrastructure is going to be set up to do so that we can build on this in the future.
Yeah, I'd say that we've been technically building this for well over a year now. However, Matt, how long would you say we've been discussing features like this?
What has evolved into Creators Club has been almost since the dawn of the product. We've come up with all sorts of different things, and how are we going to do sharing, and what are we going to do, how are we going to do it, and it's sort of like I said, over the last year or more, it's sort of evolved into this feels like a plan, this feels like something we can do, which was really spurned on by, we created Livery Designer and Scenario Planner, and then it's kind of, we really need to be able to share this stuff, but we're not going to be able to get it for launch of Livery Designer and Scenario Planner, and that sort of kicked off we really need to solve this problem. And so really, since the launch of these features in TSW2.
And yeah, brilliant. And I think there have been a few people who have already noted Matt has come in a very particular outfit tonight, I've seen the words Angel Delight used, I've seen the words Blancmange used. It's a strong look, Matt.
It's the brand, man. It's the brand. It's merch available on the Amazon store. So
if you can find it.
if you can find it, it's there. It's not all available in pink yet, but they're getting there. So but other colours are available, including boring ones like black.
Okay, so tonight, guys, we are going to be showcasing for you. We're going to do a little preview of Creators Club. Now, there have been a couple of live streams already on Creators Club. I really encourage you to take a look at those if it's something that you take a look at and you think, wow, this looks really cool, because it gives you a little bit more information on kind of how we've got to this point, and also kind of how we've developed perhaps what you've seen in previous live streams to what we've got right now. But I suppose by way of introduction to Creators Club as a whole, I know we've kind of sort of skirted around it a little bit, but Charles, are you able to kind of kickstart by telling us what Creators Club actually is?
Yeah, absolutely. Creators Club really is the hub for people to be able to, for players to be able to create, share with the world, and download the world's creations, regardless of what platform they're playing on. And it's here where we look to really be embracing and celebrating the creativity that our Livery Designer and Scenario Planner currently enables. So it's also here where we expect to be able to feature some of the great contents that the community are making, and really bring to light, really surface some of the new and interesting ideas coming from the community.
I think that's a really concise way of putting it. I think if I had to try and describe it, it'd probably take me 10 minutes. So thanks, Charles. But you might have noticed, you talked about cross-platform. You might have noticed our little thing on the top of the cameras, which will be telling you which platform we're currently on right now. We're going to be doing a live demo tonight of it actually in action, and we're going to be switching between Steam and Xbox tonight, so you'll be able to see. There we go. Oh, we've lost Charles on this particular scene, so
I'll fix that. I'll fix
that in a little bit. But we'll be switching between the two of them tonight, so you can see how the cross-platform element of this plays out in action. And obviously, we'll be switching between Charles being on the stream and off the stream apparently as well. There we go. He's back. But before we just get started with this, there is a little bit of sort of admin bits and pieces that I'd like to be able to talk about beforehand, and it's quite relevant and quite related, really. It's the livery designer competition. So we have just put together our livery designer, pre-preparation for Creators Club livery designer competition. We kind of gave everybody free rein to be able to do what it is that they wanted to do in terms of liveries. And the results were amazing. We had some brilliant entries, and we wanted to just quickly showcase the 3 winners that we had of the 38, I think, that were submitted for this particular competition. So Matt, you've got them on your screen now. Can you share through the winning 3 liveries, please? Ta-da! So we have, this one is HBF Videos. It's a take on a Hamburg-based rail freight logistics company, all fictional, obviously, but it's really great. The actual kind of the markings on it and the typography, we really loved. Now, it's important to note the players all voted for these, so you guys really loved it as well. We thought it was a brilliant effort at being able to create something of a fictional livery for a fictional company, which is great. Next one, please, Matt. This kind of psychedelic one, is a NECB BP Chase business, and it's a kind of I suppose a psychedelic take on it's optical illusion, and it seemed to resonate with you guys as well at home. It looks awesome. We're hoping all of these, by the way, will be uploaded to Creators Club on launch so that you guys can enjoy them as well. Our final one is from Luciano Vondelay. I hope I pronounced that right. A Fabrica livery, which shows the warm glow of a sunset creating a silhouette over a sprawling industrial facility. And it looks really great on the DBBR 182 as well. So those are our 3 winners. We're hoping that we're going to be able to get some of those into game, or they're going to be able to upload some of those onto Creators Club when it launches. Ha! Nearly got me there with a release date. We're not going to go there just yet. Cool. Okay, so now that we've done that, shall we get on to a little bit of a live demo? I think that's probably a good way to kick things off.
This is where it all goes wrong.
Here is where Matt has been sweating, and you might see a little bead of perspiration dripping down his forehead as the stream continues. But we are going to do a little live demo, so we're going to showcase for you. Matt, are you going to just quickly tell us what it is that you're going to be doing for the next kind of 10-15 minutes so that we can follow what you're doing and ask questions as we go through?
Okay, so first of all, I'm going to make a real quick livery. May or may not be pink, but I'm going to make a real quick livery. Then we're going to upload it to Creators Club, and then I'm going to switch over to the console, and I'm going to download that livery, and we're just going to bring it up into a route and prove that it works. Then I'm going to make a scenario on the console, and I'm using that livery, and I'm going to upload that to Creators Club, come back to the PC, download the scenario using that custom livery, and show that it works.
Sounds easy.
Yeah, it'll be fine. No, it'll be fine.
So before we get started with that, Matt, just quickly to Charles again. So obviously what we're describing there is quite a seemingly seamless process from the player perspective, but kind of behind the scenes, there's a lot of infrastructural work that needs to happen in order for that to be to happen in real life. So what are the kinds of challenges that you've experienced when you and your team have been building this over the course of the last, as you said, sort of year or so?
Yeah, I think from a technology perspective, I think building a solution that works not just across platforms but cross generations has been the biggest technical challenge. We didn't want this to be a solution specific to any one platform, and we also didn't want to build something where maybe Xbox players could only share content with other Xbox players. We wanted everybody to be able to embrace the content that everybody else was creating. So supporting the different platforms and then subsequently the different generations as well. There is no difference here between a creator on Xbox and on an Xbox One versus an Xbox Series. And we take that through to PlayStation and our PC platforms too. But from a not so technologic perspective, I would say creating a user experience that was both natural and also catering to a modern audience. So we've discussed this in the past, but really being able to service the players who want to continue discovering their content whilst they're not playing our game. Maybe they're on the train and they're looking at, what content might I want to download and play with and things like that. We don't want to build the bare minimum for people being able to expand the amount of content in their game with the Creators Club, but we really want to create something that can hit the ground running and can be reiterated using your user feedback. So we've created a foundation, a framework for us to be able to iterate upon. And from that perspective, there have been challenges with doing that, but we're now in a good position, set for a good launch where we can achieve exactly this. So.
Absolutely, and you've touched on a really good point here in that we're going to be iterating on this quite a lot. This is why we're framing this as a beta, because there are quite a lot of unknowns that we've got when we're coming to launch. It's not necessarily from a technological standpoint, but we don't know how many players are going to be using it, how they're going to be using it, and also what kinds of things you guys, when you're trying it, actually think, oh, well, I'd love to be able to do this kind of thing, or actually this feature would make this even better for me. So whilst we're kind of iterating on it and making it and improving it for the longer term, we are going to keep it within this kind of beta remit, and it means that obviously we've got the opportunity then to quickly change things if we need to. There might be occasions where we perhaps need to take Creators Club down just to make some maintenance kinds of things, and obviously we wouldn't want to do that if it wasn't in a beta side of things. So we're going to try and make sure that we do obviously have as little disruption to you guys as possible, but we're going to try and make sure again that we have the flexibility to be able to make some of these changes as and when we would like to. So I've kind of filled for a really, really long time, and I feel like I introduced the demo quite a long time ago. So let's get into it.
You needed to save some fill for when it goes wrong, and I need to fix it.
I know. I've used up. Don't worry, we've got lots of player questions. Lots of people that have been asking questions on the forum thread. So I'll go through those if the demo isn't quite going to plan.
It'll be
but there
fine.
we go. Fingers
complete
crossed.
confidence. Someone did ask earlier on if this is going to work on PS5. And yeah, PS4, PS5, Series X, Series S, Xbox One, One X, PC, Epic. All the platforms. This is the goal. The whole goal of Creators Club here is across. If you can play Train Sim World, you can share liveries, and you're sharing them with anybody else who can play Train Sim World. It's just really cool.
Absolutely. Okay,
Right,
should we
shall
get started
going?
then?
Right.
I'm going to kind of sit back a little bit, Matt. You do the narrating, and Charles, feel free to chip in with anything that would be important. I'm going to ask stupid questions like I always do. So take it away, Matt.
Cool. Okay, so I am going to do a really quick livery. First of all, is the AC4400. Create a new, and this one's going to be called Whiterton since I did Pinkerton earlier on. And we'll do that. Right, we have a loco. Let's just give it a coat of paint, nice and white. Give it a layer. Now, what colour shall we make this layer?
Just to quickly interrupt you, Matt, we're not going to turn the face cams off just for this, because we want you to be able to see like the Steam PC side of things. We want you to be able to see the cross-platform functionality on this, and obviously, whilst we're doing some of this stuff, this is stuff that hopefully you've all seen before anyway. This isn't necessarily that new. If there's anything that's important, we'll see if we can remove the face cams.
Right, let's just do this. I'm not going to spend too long on this. Apologies if it's a bit rubbish. Right, let's pull this across. White with a pink stripe. It's different to my usual pink with a white stripe. Right, okay, and we'll place that, and then we will copy that, and we will edit that, and we will change its side, which is options, change side, other side, confirm. Right, we've now got stripe all the way around the train. Boom. This is the extent of the liveries I make in the livery editor, and why we need Creators Club, so that I can use trains that are more interesting. Right, okay, click save and click back. We now have our train. So the next step is to go back into the game, and we need to take some screenshots. So,
and this is a really important point, isn't it, Matt? Because you're going to need 5 screenshots to be able to. Sorry, what was that? Did you say 4?
4. Yeah.
4. Sorry, 4. I've got that on my crib sheet as well.
There it is. Look, there's my trait. Yeah, so it's 4 screenshots. You'll see where we use them in just a minute. And the screenshots are Dovetail Live Railfan shots. So as you've been pressing Control F10 on PC or holding the camera shift and D-pad downing on your console, then you've been building up a library of shots that you'll be able to use. That one I'll do for now. Wait for that to load. And we should then see the logo, the livery that I've just created, magically appearing in front of us. Thank you. Right. Look, no, come on, I couldn't even have planned that better. That's amazing. Right, okay. So, line up our shot, press Control F10, and then upload. That's it. You've taken a shot, it's uploaded. It's great. So we're going to line up another shot. We need 4 in total. Let's do something a little bit different.
Work those angles, man.
Work the angles. Focus on the pink for this one. It's not really pink, that one. That one actually is probably more violet, isn't it? But never mind. Go with it. Oh yeah, here we go. Here we go. Good. Right, so we have our 4 shots, right? So, having got 4 lovely shots, I might just take a 5th in case we need another one. Because what's wrong with taking another shot? Okay, so we've got 5 shots as it happens now. So now I'm going to come out and I'm going to go back to the main menu. And we are going to go into Creators Club. It's time to upload our livery, which is Whiterton. And we pop here in the main menu. You see there's a little bit of reorganization gone on down here. And I'm going to click on Creators Club. And when we go into Creators Club, it will pull down a lot of test data. Okay? A lot of test data because this is our test database. So this will be not this data when it goes live. It'll be cleaned up. Right, mods. This is where you've got all of the livery, all the content, your user created content that you have uploaded. So you can say I've uploaded a livery from here. If I want to upload a scenario, click there. Upload a livery, click here. So I'm going to click that button. Now this shows me all the stuff I've got on my system, which includes stuff that I've not made. To be clear, Sparmy I think has made a bunch of this stuff, and so have others. But I'm looking for, you can see the name of it here. So this is an AC4400 Whiterton. So we click that. Right, we're now getting ready to upload. So we're going to upload it, give it a name, and we'll give it some tags. Now we covered tags in the last time we looked at it, but this is kind of like, broadly speaking, what's the high level things? So this is a USA, it's a diesel, and where's freight? Is there a freight? There's a freight, that'll do. Good. Yeah. Confirm. You can have, I think, as many as you like on that, can't you, Charles?
Up to 6, I believe.
6, okay. So
important to note, those are all predefined tags.
Yes,
for the
they're
moment.
defined on our side. Yeah.
Yeah, there isn't an option. We might add more when it comes to launch if we find that there is a lack somewhere or there is somewhere that we haven't covered with the existing tags. But it's likely that in terms of player-generated tags, it's not something that we would do in the short-term future. A lot of the additions to tags will come from us.
Yeah. Right. So I've set a description. And so screenshots. Let's have a look at the look at the screenshots. So we got some screenshots here. So let's take that one, and that one. Somehow only 4 of them made it up. I don't know. That's fine. Good. Well, this is our screenshot. So this is kind of giving you an idea of what it's going to look like actually on Creators Club when it's uploaded. And we press the submit button, and then there's the legal mumbo jumbo, which obviously you will read in detail. And when you get to the bottom, the accept button will light up, proving that you have read it in detail and you agree, and you accept and publish. Right, that's now uploaded. Job done. So, uploading complex stuff. And you can now, at this point, I can click view hub, view mod, which I'll do in a minute, which will just take you to what it looks like actually in Creators Club. And return to hub will just take you back into the main screen. So if you're done uploading, but if you've got another one, if you want to see what this mod looks like in its uploaded form, then you can click on it and you can see how awesome it looks. So there you go. We've taken a mod, we've uploaded it. The first bit of this demo has gone smoothly. And I've not just jinxed it entirely. So,
I was going to say, what are you saying, Matt? What are you saying?
It's like I said, it's all going to go perfect. So we are now switching to the wonderful world of Series X. Just to prove we are on Xbox now. This is an Xbox. Right, so we now need to say, right, I'm actually logged in as a different user on this system, and you can see what's been uploaded. And there we go, look, there's Whiterton. It's already appeared on the list there, so I click on that, and I press the A button, and that's it. Downloaded and installed. It's tough.
Simple as that.
But, has it really been? I should prove it's working, shouldn't I, really? So let's go into the timetable, and pick a livery, and look, there's Whiterton. There you go. I'm excited.
Oh, here's where the magic happens.
This is the magic, and let's do this one. Bum, ba, bum, ba, bum.
Fingers crossed.
And here we are.
Hey!
Oh, look at this! Look at this!
Everybody breathes a big sigh of relief.
Oh, what a great combination of logos there. See,
Wow.
this. I'm just going to turn the audio down on this real quick, because that's deafening me, so I've no idea what it's doing for everybody else. We don't need the game audio in particular for this bit. Right. So, this is good. We've got a livery made on a PC and downloaded on an Xbox Series X, in-game and drivable. And I think you'll agree with me, that was pretty easy.
I completely agree. Charles, now that you're able to breathe again, do you agree?
Yes. Still recovering. Yeah. Edge of my seat throughout all of that. No, it's great to see that as a creator of content, once you've created your livery, it takes a few clicks to be able to publish your content. And as a player who wants to expand the number of liveries that they can play, it's a matter of one click to be able to say, I would like to use this.
Yeah.
It's awesome to see.
It's very cool. So, okay, I'm hyped pumped from that success. I'm willing to double down and go double or nothing on this. And
what do you have in mind, Matt?
And let's make a scenario and go the other way.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah? And we make a scenario using the livery we just uploaded, okay? So we're going to absolutely throw everything at the wall at this one. So, tools, scenario planner, and we will add a new scenario, and you'll pardon me for using a keyboard here. Whiterton on the grade. You might notice a theme here. So I'm going to add, and we're going to start at Summit, which is Sandpatch Main Eastbound. And we are going to take that path, and we are going to go down to Cumberland Receiving, and that's it. So that's a path that takes us from the top of Sandpatch Grade all the way down to the yard at the bottom. I'm going to pick the locomotive. I'm going to pick the locomotive, and there it is. So this is the livery that I downloaded, Whiterton, and I'm going to confirm that. Give this a name, player service. Yes, I have got a keyboard plugged in, because otherwise I would grow old, and we would all grow old while I use the controller to type stuff in. Confirm that. Back out. Let's just double check it works before we upload it. It's always good practice to make sure your stuff works before you upload it. And there we go. Here we are on the top of the grade in Sandpatch, in possibly the greatest locomotive ever released in this livery. Right. Let's share that. I'm so pleased with that I really want to make sure that everybody has the opportunity. So now I'm into Creators Club again, and this time I'm going into my mods, and I'm going to use the scenarios one, and I'm going to click plus there. Whiterton on the grade, so this is listing my scenarios that I've got on the console, so I can click button on that, and we can say, right, you know what I've forgotten to do? I've forgotten to take some screenshots. Let's just quickly go and take some screenshots.
It's worth noting that if you do have anything currently in Livery Designer or Scenario Planner, it is pretty much ready to go for when Creators Club launches. All you will need to do is make sure you've got the Railfan shots. You can do that now if you want to.
Yeah, you take the Railfan shots now, totally.
Yeah, saves you a bit of time on launch day. Means you've got a bit more time to get those angles right. Yeah, if you want to get it uploaded, then we recommend that you get that kind of side of things organised before we launch.
And
right.
To clarify, you can't view your Railfan shots in game with the current version that is out to players, but you can view these railfan shots on tracingmod.com if you log in with your Dovetail Live account, and you can show them that. So
there you go.
Yeah. Oh, that is a good caveat. You do need a Dovetail Live account, an active Dovetail Live account.
Yes, to use all of Creators Club, you'll need that. Yeah.
Excellent.
Right, someone asked earlier on, how do you take screenshots, railfan shots on console? Press and hold the right stick, press and hold D-pad down. So it's press and hold right stick, then press and hold D-pad down, and after a moment, it takes a shot. So that's one. Let's take 3 or 4 shots.
maybe 5.
I might do 6.
Yeah, it's good. It's good practice as well to take more than you need as well, because it means you can be selective over which the ones make it look the most impressive. We're aware lots of people are asking questions in the chat. I am logging as many of them as I can, and I'll blitz through them as much as we can when we get through the end of this demo section.
Okay, one more. Just for luck. Excellent. Right, I think we therefore have enough shots, and I don't know, I'm still marvelling over the beauty of that train. So, right, okay, so now let's go back into Creators Club. Press X, and then we pop down to My Mods and Scenarios. Let me just real quick delete that one, because that's not anything useful. Right, Scenarios. Whiteton on the grade. So I'm looking over here because I've got a big TV showing me what I'm actually looking at. That's so name is going to be Whiteton on the grade. Doesn't have to match the name of the scenario. Helpful if it's similar at least. Let's pick our tags. Diesel. Let's pretend it's high-speed locomotive. There you go. Alright, and then go down to confirm. Description. This is fantastic. You should all download and play this now. Probably not the most useful description, but there you go. And these are the railfan shots. So everything you've got uploaded to to the railfan shot system is now available via this. So you can look through everything that you've got in that you've uploaded in the past is all available on here. So, and you can just pick your 4 shots here. So 1, 2, 3, 4. Actually, let's make that number 4. That's not going to be number 1. That makes that number 1. Right. Number 1 is the one you want to select first. I should pay more attention to what I'm doing. Right, 2, 3, 4. Good. Press confirm. Screenshots. Submit. Read.
The very important terms and conditions that you all should read every single time.
You will all be reading this. I know you will. Okay, and then you will acknowledge that you've accepted it and published it, and it's done. So again, I can click View Mod, and it will take me to that over there. Good. Mod is up. You can see it's in the My Mods list. Right.
Let's go to Steam.
Back to PC. Let's go back to there.
CBB sometimes do like the bedtime reading things for kids. I think we should get one of you, Matt, just reading the terms and conditions.
Oh, man, that put everyone to sleep within a paragraph.
Yeah.
Right, Whiteton on the grade. This is the scenario I just uploaded from the console, and it is there. And it says I should download it and play it. So clearly I have to. Job done. Downloaded, installed, ready to go. How do I know it's there? Well, let's have a look. I don't believe me, so there's no reason you should. Right, Scenario Planner, Whiteton on the grade, go. There you go.
Ding, 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 ding. We have a winner.
I'm unbelievably happy about that.
Cool, isn't it?
Very cool.
I think I said before we went on the stream, if the live demo goes to plan, I'll be made up. So I think we're all good. We are all happy. That's all worked and everything is good, because no matter how many times you practice it, when you're not in a live environment, something inevitably always goes wrong. And I'm glad that it has not gone wrong tonight.
No, very pleased with that. That's good. It works fairly well, actually. And I think one of the things that I was really happy about, as I've been using this, is just how easy that is. It is in that territory of one click. There's no messing about. It's just one click to find something that you want to download and press the submit button. And unsubscribing as well. So, like for that scenario, you just click that again and it will uninstall it. So it's really, really, really cool in that sort of front.
Absolutely. Okay, demo is done. I've got loads and loads and loads and loads of questions. But I think perhaps before we get into those, can we see from a player's perspective what you're going to look when you're looking at the different liveries, what all of the different options that you have for in terms of subscribing to people and whatnot? Can we just take a quick look through those first, and then we'll get into some questions?
How do you mean?
So going into the scenarios, you can obviously subscribe to different.
So you've got. Bear in mind, we're going to expose lots of internal test data here. So please pretend this database is empty. There's you can look at liveries. So you've got the most popular liveries, most recent liveries. If you pick on an author, you can click on that author, and then you can see anything that author has uploaded, and then you can go and find that piece of content really easily and download it. Help me out here, Charles. What else should I be doing?
Well, we support people browsing content by most popular, most recent, whilst featuring content. You can see what content you're subscribed to. So if we go into our subscriptions on the left there, we can see that Matt is a fan of his own content.
Somebody has to be.
Yeah. There's some creator tools that we have here as well. So if you was to go to your My Mods and then view the scenario, or even a livery that you uploaded, you'll see that the buttons down the bottom here are a little bit different. So as a content creator, you have the ability to upload new versions of your livery. You may choose to amend an error or simply improve it. And this is where the subscribe terminology comes from, because it means that people who are looking to download your content will always get the latest versions of that. So in a similar vein, we can also still edit our content. You know, we're all prone to making typos. And of course, we can delete a piece of content should an author choose to. So,
yeah. Is there the ability to search?
Yeah. So there is a search feature. This is definitely going to be one of those areas where we're looking to reiterate with time. I think the biggest area where I'm very keen to get further feedback on is how people are looking to discover content. So search is definitely one of those mediums, one of those methods, but maybe there are more. But for the time being, search will allow you to search by title and description. We're going to expand this in time to include things like tags and the routes or the locos being used for that livery. So
you touched on a good point, Charles, because the next question I was going to ask on was dependencies. So say, for example, I own a particular route, but I don't necessarily own the loco that has been designed by somebody who has put it onto Creators Club, and I want to try it. What would come up on my screen if I were to try and access a loco that I either didn't already own, or that was kind of outside of the route, or a route that I didn't already own?
Well, let's see if we can find one, Matt. Is there any content in here? We're looking for a red basket icon next to the subscribe check mark.
If this is based on something I don't have, I've got a full install. Snookered by the full install.
Oof. Do you happen to have that on your Xbox?
Actually, good point. Let me switch over.
Ooh.
I have nothing on the Xbox. So
wonderful.
Cool. If we got to
liveries. So
there
like
we go.
This test one here.
Yeah. So at this point, there is this red basket icon that refers to there being some content that was used to create this livery, I believe it was, that you do not yet have installed. It's not talking about what you own, but what you have installed. So we've made it really intuitive and fluid for you to be able to identify if you can download content and begin playing with it immediately. That's been quite important to us. So equally, if you don't own that content, we're not making it particularly difficult for you to find out more information about it. So yeah, users can browse by content that they own. And if you were to subscribe in this exact example, for instance, if you were to subscribe to that test livery, it wouldn't download because you don't have the required content necessary to install it. But should you then later get that content, because you're subscribed to it, it will automatically download as soon as you have that content, which is particularly nice.
That's cool. That's like a wish list for, I suppose,
Exactly.
like a wish list for creators. That's really cool. I didn't know that. I learned
Of course,
something
you
in the
buy a
stream as
piece of DLC, and when you go and have a look at it, there'll be 6 or 7 liveries waiting for you that
Exactly.
that you'd already downloaded that you like the look of. That's cool.
Yeah, so it's a couple of questions. Can you browse liveries by loco or scenarios by route? Or is that something, again, that we'd look to perhaps iterate on?
That's definitely a reiteration. It's, I think, high up on our list, but won't be included for launch. I would.
There's a lot we want to do, I think, with search, but it's there's an awful lot of structure required to actually make search work effectively and not cause problems. So it's kind of, this is a starter for it based on the title and description, as Charles said, but and then people can start using it and sharing liveries, and then we can start adding new ways of discovering content. And these are a lot of the ways that people are talking about are kind of high up on our list for sort of the next things we want to do, because they're fairly obvious. But yeah, but the key thing is tell us how you want to use the system.
Yeah, cool. I'm going to touch on, because there've been quite a few questions about what is and what isn't allowed. We'll come on to that in a second. But there's also been a few questions about sizes of the files that you're going to be uploading, downloading on this. I know there's a few, particularly PS5 players, who are conscious of their current 64 meg limit. 64 meg? Gig limit. Sorry, gig limit. 24 meg is not 64 meg is not enough by any means. How big are the files that you'd be using for this? Is it something that will take a big chunk out of your storage, or is it something that should be, for most players, very manageable?
I think, if you wouldn't mind for me, Matt, on your Xbox, could you go to your subscriptions for a quick second?
Oh, hello.
On the left.
Yep.
There we go. So in this example, Matt subscribes to Pinkerton and was it Whiterton? Subscribe to 2 pieces of content, and I could be sorely mistaken here, but in the top right corner next to Matt's Dovetail Live username, it says 1022 megabytes available. I believe that it's 1028 megabytes available by default on consoles, such as the Xbox Series X. So
yeah, that's a limit that the consoles impose in terms of user data access for user content. Certainly with the way that we're accessing it, which gives you a gigabyte of storage that consoles. On the PC, if I switch back over onto here, you can see I've got hard drive space available. But on console, it's the 1 gigabyte. Sorry, carry on, Charles.
But from downloading 2 mods, you can see it was a matter of mere megabytes. We're not talking about files.
If you look down underneath where it says content overview.
Oh, there you go.
2.36 kilobytes.
I challenge somebody to fill up their PS5 with liveries.
And this 64 gig, sorry, this does not affect your 64 gig. This is outside of the 64 gig.
Yeah, but I mean, 2.3 kilobytes. It's not exactly gonna, like, even if you subscribe to 200 of these, that's going to be 400 kilobytes. So that's not a huge amount of space to take up, particularly if you've got 1.2 meg available to you.
I mean, my livery only had 2 layers. Other liveries may take up more space, but they're not going to take up inordinately more.
Yeah. So hopefully that will have sort of calmed any potential fears with that. But obviously, we've tried to provide as much information as we can do on screens like this, so that you can be most informed about how you want to invest your storage space, and also which liveries or scenarios you might want to be using with Creators Club, just so that we've given you as much info as you possibly can do. Okay, let's talk about licenses, because that's obviously a really important part of this. We've been really fortunate. We have really good relationships with some of our licensed partners, and even those who are not currently on our approved list, we are communicating with regularly around making sure that, as I say, they are informed about what's going on with Creators Club, and also if they were to want to get involved as well. So there might be some changes to our current list of approved licenses or licensors, and we'll keep on changing the FAQs list as we get more and more things in, and we'll make sure that that's available for people to see. But our current list of approved licensors, or licenses, are NSF, which is a new addition. That was as of last week, so that's BNSF, which is great. Really good to have those guys on board. Deutsche Bahn's DB, and some respective kind of sub licenses that come with it. Gatwick Express, Thameslink, all the Go Via owned parts of those brands. Go Ahead owned Great Northern and Southern. MBTA, MDV, Network West Midlands, NJ Transit, Railpool, RHB. There are a couple of exceptions to RHB, but it is the umlauts are coming. Ratishbahn, Arosabahn, and Graubünden. I've butchered that, and I apologise. I got told how to do that in the last. I got told how to do the U umlauts in the last stream. I've completely blanked. Union Pacific, VVO, and West Midlands Railway as well. So it's quite an extensive list. There's a few sub brands that go with those as well. So make sure you take a look at the list of approved licensors on our website. Currently on an article. These will be within the FAQs as well, which you can access through Creators Club. There's a little button to click on the FAQs to find those on the website. What we recommend is those are the approved licenses, so try and stick to those. Otherwise, your livery may be at risk of being removed. And there are a couple of the licenses that we have, which have a couple of our licensed partners who have specifically asked for them to not be involved with Creators Club. So we will be providing more information on some of those a little bit further down the line. But those are the approved lists. Try and focus on the approved list for the time being, and that means, as I say, there will be things you should be able to create logos with those brands, no problems. Logos. So we've talked a little bit about before. I think in the first time we talked about Creators Club, we talked about potentially for some of these approved licenses incorporating logo decals onto things like Livery Designer. Matt, what's the progress on this? And I suppose as a second question to Charles, what is the potential plan for doing this kind of thing in the future? So I'll go to Matt first.
So we're gathering the resources together and converting them into the format we need to get them into the system. We don't have a date yet when we start seeing some of the operator logos appearing as decals, but we'll let you know closer to the time. But yeah, so a number of operators have given us the green light to use the decal, use their logos in-game as decals, which is tremendous. It means that you'll be able to get super accurate versions really easily without consuming tons of layers to do it. So not everybody has done that, even on the approved list, but those that have, we'll try and get them in as soon as we can, and we'll let you know when they're available.
And with regards to how we're getting this out to the players, how we might deliver this, we're looking at the logos, delivering these in a variety of options, but additionally, we have things like our mastery challenges and our community challenges where we're providing the community with new decal packs to expand upon those kind of creative options. And I'm sure some of those could be used to assist in creating some of the logos that we don't yet have in the game. So I'd say stay tuned for that and expect an update.
Yeah, and we'd love to be able to use things like community challenges and things like that to be able to facilitate some of this a little bit, to give things away to people and decals that players might be using regularly. So we'd like to be able to use those as well. But that's, again, a work in progress, not something that's going to be here in the near future. But we'd like to do that kind of thing in the coming months. Lots of questions coming out. Sorry. Do off the rail scenarios work?
Yes.
Cool. And if a player or a creator were to delete a livery or a creation on Creators Club, would it be deleted or edited for everybody else as well?
So if you delete your livery save file where it would exist in the livery designer, then your mod, that is your livery, that everybody else is subscribed to, will continue to exist. We consider these separate things. So by going to the Creators Club, my mods picking the livery that you uploaded, you'd be able to delete that from the Creators Club, and then that would then remove it from everybody else's installation of the game. But that doesn't mean you need to delete your local version, so you can continue using it, and it equally works both ways. You can delete your local version, but keep the version online for everybody else to engage with, which is cool.
That is cool. Yeah, I mean, obviously the clue is, I suppose, in the Creators Club, in that ultimately it's the creator who has the divine power to be able to do what they want to do with it, whether that's share it with everybody or whether that is to delete it and just use it locally. Is that individual's prerogative, really. So, yeah, I mean, we want to try and get as many people creating content on here as we possibly can do. This is how this is going to work best, and how we're going to get a really interesting, vibrant community of creative people who are then building things that everybody can enjoy, but as well everybody can contribute to. I'd love to get to the point where people are getting hints and tips from people who are experts in Creators Club or using any of these tools, and then creating their first things and becoming successful livery designers and scenario planners themselves. Love to get to that point, and I think this is the first step, really, where you're kind of starting that journey. Okay, lots of more questions. That was really terrible English. How will Creators Club handle screenshots of a different aspect ratio than 16:9? Because their Dovetail Live screenshots are in 21:9, for example.
It will attempt to scale it down. As you can imagine, there can be extremes. I don't know what the wildest resolution somebody has tried to play Train Sim World 2 at. I'm sure it's particularly wild.
Triple wide probably would be the worst case scenario, wouldn't it? Cause
yeah. So the UI makes an effort to make it look good, but as this is user-generated content, it is expected that there might be some images that maybe look a little bit warped and such.
We'll take it as one of the things, again, part of the beta is
Exactly.
seeing how people use the system and working out how we need to adapt the UI to handle that.
Yeah. So Imaginox has asked, can I upload a livery on PS4 and then with the same Dovetail Live account download it on my PC? I expect through Creators Club, yes. Locally, not sure.
I don't know the answer to that. I don't know the answer to that just yet. That's a very interesting idea. I don't think we've explored being able to re-download something you have uploaded. It then becomes something of a cloud save backup feature, then, doesn't it? Which is
an interesting way of people convert, because at the moment there's no way of taking your stuff from PS4 to PS5. This would be a way of people getting their liveries from PS4 to PS5 save profiles, for example. So there's some interesting options there. I'm using 2 different accounts. Partly, I think, because when I tried it, it didn't let me subscribe to it because it was mine. So I think the way it's likely to work as a launch is that if it's your file, then it won't let you download it. I think is how it seems to work.
Yeah.
Okay. A couple of questions. I thought we'd answered this already. Can you edit downloaded liveries unless they're your liveries? No. It's the creator's prerogative to get it live, and then they're the ones that can make edits to it. Unfortunately, as I say, it might be something that we add in future, a creators club maybe, but for the moment it will be just the person that's created the scenario or the livery that's able to edit them.
Yeah, again, let's have your feedback on that, particularly if it's as a creator, it's something you want to be able to offer. And we know some people might not, some people might. So,
yeah. And important question we've not actually answered yet. Is it free? Yes, it is free. It's a free addition to the game. It's coming as an actual update, not a paid-for update. So this will be available to everybody.
Mm-hmm.
Wonderful. Okay, more questions that I gathered from the forums. We'll keep taking questions from the chat as much as we can do. In regards to username and privacy, has there been a way to stop potential hundreds of friends requests being sent?
Not for launch. It's something that is still being investigated and maybe something that we can deliver to players post-launch. But if you're not prepared for your username to be public, it's an optional opt-in service, I'd say, as a creator. So you always have the option to not upload and publish creations. Your username would not be out in the wild in that instance. So So
Actually, Emil, any plans on getting the downloaded scenarios in a more official place in line with Dovetail made scenarios instead of together with the other scenario planner stuff? We're going to have featured liveries and featured content, which is probably the best way that we can surface that to other people. We'll also be looking to use some of the content from Creators Club in things like 4-up challenges. We'd love to be able to do some creator-made scenarios and liveries during things like 4-up challenges and during some of our more kind of irreverent live streams that we do. So we'll try and surface as much as we can do of really good stuff that's going on.
I think another aspect that might have been meant there is actually, at the moment, in order to find a scenario, you've got to go into the scenario planner where your own creations would be. At this point, there's no plans to separate downloaded scenarios from the scenarios you've made yourself.
Oh, okay. Sorry, I might have misinterpreted that question.
I don't know, but it was just the other way that I could think of interpreting it, so I thought I'd throw it in. So, no, at the moment they're kind of mixed together, and there's no indication of. So if I go back into here. You can see there's no visible indicator at the minute for whether it is a download or so I go tool scenario planner. They look exactly the same as they would normally. That is on another list of things we at least want to flag them up differently if they're a downloaded scenario.
Yeah. Someone's asked if there'll be a tutorial for Creators Club. Well, we've had a pretty good one just now, actually. So I think if you are interested in finding out a little bit more, if you watch the first sort of 25 minutes of the stream, you'll get a pretty decent example of what you should or shouldn't do with Creators Club. We'll also have FAQs that are live for launch as well, which have got details on what you need to do, and hopefully with some nice screenshots as well to help out. So you'll be covered. The interface, as you can see as well, is quite user friendly. It's quite obvious what you should or shouldn't do, we hope, and I believe it's all. Charles, is it all localized as well?
Translated? Yeah. So with the exception of content that a user might write themselves, such as the title, description, it's all localized, including the tags, which is pretty cool.
Cool. Do we have an update limit per day? So if somebody wanted to upload 40 liveries on launch day, for instance, would they have a cap at all?
So I'm going to say no. We're not intending on limiting the amount of content somebody can upload, but as you can imagine, as soon as this gets abused, then these limits do need to be introduced. So
we have the capacity to limit, but at this point in time, we see no reason to. But we'll be closely monitoring to make sure the system works well for everybody.
Yeah, absolutely. We should highlight that so what we were talking about in terms of the licenses primarily apply to Livery Designer. So it's not something that applies to Scenario Planner, because in theory what you should be using is everything that's already in game or something that's already been approved through a livery that's already been approved through Creators Club. So no restrictions on Scenario Planner beyond what we've already talked about. Okay, all right. Diamond Derps asked, are unbranded liveries allowed? I believe so.
It's one of the things we're going to explore and see what feedback we get from the partners as well. It's so yeah.
Cool. Sorry, I'm just going through. There's some really interesting questions that I'm just trying to remember what I was asked. Remember what they're asking.
Tintin's actually asked a question about how do you use the website. I think we're saving the website demo for the next time we do a stream on this. And what we'll do is we'll try and do a similar sort of multi-platform thing, but we'll do sort of web and PC and show you how that works. But we're not able to show you that right now.
Yep. Gareth Hubble asks, will there be a requirement to run and successfully complete your scenario before you upload it to Creators Club?
Nope.
No.
It would be nice if you did, but it won't check it. Your homework will not be checked.
Again, when we get to the point where there are things that do and don't work within Creators Club, let's use Scenario Planner as an example. Is there a way to kind of separate the things, say if something wasn't to work or it didn't quite represent what was intended when you uploaded it? Is there a way to make that content not necessarily visible for other people, or is it much more of a it has to go through the moderation process in order to be kind of removed from people's feeds or searches?
I'll leave that one for you, Charles.
I'm sorry, to clarify, are you saying if the user...
Is there like I suppose what I'm saying is there like an upvote or downvote system or something like that that would allow things that are high quality to surface to the top, or lower quality things to be sort of low near the bottom?
So we're looking towards two particular features for launch. We're looking at the number of subscribers as being our first early indicator of how popular a piece of content may be. And then we are also looking to spotlight this community content and curate this, the dovetail curation feed, this featured feed. And I think through these two mechanisms, we'll be surfacing quite a lot of great content. It may be that we might look at most popular being most popular over the past 2 weeks instead of lifetime, and we might adjust that with time. But this is one of many different content discovery mechanisms that we're looking at. And more important than anything else, we need to know how you guys are going to use this. Really looking for your feedback here. So
yeah, we've said it a couple of times already, but very important to highlight, this is a beta. This is us sort of, we are, I would say, probably about 80-90% of in terms of the infrastructure, everything is sound and sorted. It's more from kind of a next features perspective that we're looking at, say, what the next 3, 4, 5, 6 months look like for Creators Club, and what do we prioritize in terms of, as you say, discovery, usability within it, how do we make sure that it's the best experience for as many people as possible before we then kind of take it out of this beta, take this beta moniker off of it, because we want to try and make sure, again, it's the best it can possibly be before we say, hey, we're done with this and it's finished.
Absolutely.
Yeah, we have looked at some systems have upvoting and downvoting, but actually we find that to be seen as really generally quite a negative thing by the creators themselves. So we opted to not put an upvote downvote system in at this point in time, at least.
Yeah, it's a really difficult one, and you've seen it. I've seen it done really well in certain places, and I've seen it done really, really badly. And I think what we want to try and encourage to begin with is, rather than people rating a piece of content, we want to try and make sure that people actually engage with it first, because I think a few people would upvote or downvote something without even playing it or seeing it in how it's meant to be played. And what we'd like to be able to have is a situation where the subscribe is a kind of a show of your commitment to saying, actually, yes, this is what I want, and therefore that's a pretty good indicator for us that it's a pretty good piece of content.
Someone said, does it show how many downloads there are on a mod? There is. It says when you click on a mod, you can see how many subscribers it's got here. And someone else noted, yes, you can abuse downvotes. You can abuse upvotes as well. We've seen on Steam Workshop with Train Simulator. We've seen all sorts of antics going on by people. I don't know whether they've been using bots or a load of their buddies to skew the way things are showing. So it doesn't prove productive either way.
No, astroturfing is a real thing, and there are some really sophisticated websites like Reddit, for instance, that perhaps have managed to weed it out to a certain extent, but I don't think we're quite there yet. So I think it might be something we have to do. Well, we would have to do a lot of work, both on a engineering level, but also on a, like, I suppose, morality level, to understand exactly how it should be done.
Yeah,
and what
we want to make sure you get good
it.
content to download, but also that creators feel good about sharing it.
Absolutely. What do the numbers next to the logo head mean? Down there, is that the amount of subscribers?
That's the number of subscribers.
Yeah. So you can see that on this screen as well as the actual livery itself. Questions. Okay, yes, this is probably a point that we've not talked about so far, which is moderation. So Anna Des asks, what are the consequences of releasing liveries with unapproved licenses? Will the livery in question just be deleted? Will the user get a temporary ban from uploading anything to Creators Club, or could the entire Dovetail Live account be removed with enough violations? So moderation is, again, one of these areas which I think we're going to have to... we've got a plan, and we know what we want to try and do with moderation, but obviously this is there are things that do fall within specific grey areas. And we want to try and reduce those grey areas as much as we can do, but we want to also try and make sure that we've given as much freedom as we possibly can do for everybody who's enjoying Creators Club. So what happens with moderation is you will be able to upload the content. When you put it live, you have to agree to the terms and conditions before you do so, and some of that stipulates that you need to own the right, or you need to own the copyright for unapproved licenses, for instance. There are a couple of other things so again, recommend that you do actually read it, at least parts of it anyway, because it is quite important. And then if we have a report feature on there, so if you want to report a livery if it's offensive or derogatory or discriminatory or anything like that, it goes into a moderation queue, which we would then take action on. If things that are on that are breaching of like licensing sides of things, we will be moderating pretty regularly the tool, and we will be, where appropriate, removing things that breach those terms and conditions. So this is what we said when we were talking about approved liveries earlier. We'd really, or approved licenses earlier. We'd really, really recommend that you go and investigate those, because it might be that your creation would be at risk of removal as a result of this moderation side of things. And if we were to see repeat people doing this on a regular basis, we haven't got the functionality in it for launch, I don't believe, Charles, am I right in saying? But we might be able to do things like restrict access. We might be able to do temporary bans or permanent bans if it became very, very severe.
Yeah, there's certainly those solutions at launch. Obviously, they're extreme. Those extreme cases, but they do exist. Yeah,
would important to note that unless it was really, really serious, we probably wouldn't ban somebody for uploading a piece of unlicensed content. It would be more along the offensive, discriminatory side of things that we would probably take serious action against.
Yeah.
Okay, moderation is quite a heavy topic, and I'm sure that's not the last that we're going to hear about it with regards to Creators Club, but we want to try and be as free as we possibly can do with it, without obviously upsetting any of our licensed partners who have specifically asked not to be a part of Creators Club, at least for the time being. That might change.
And it's through a great use and participation of it that hopefully that will change. But
yeah, and also good.
Show everybody how great Creators Club is.
Yeah, and I think the best way to perhaps do this is through like encouraging really if you see something really great, subscribe to it. Make sure that content is the stuff that is seen and everybody gets access to, rather than the things that are perhaps not quite as that breach those guidelines or that are not very nice or anything like that. Or make sure you're reporting things that you're seeing in there. We'll do our best, but obviously there are hopefully going to be lots and lots of things that come into it, so there might be things that slip through the cracks on occasion. So please be vigilant and let us know if there's anything that crops up that's problematic. Okay, Train Simulator. So one day they'll figure out it's all free advertising. Well, there is that side of things, but copyright law is very, very complicated. I'm not even going to try and understand how all of this works. So there is understandable reasons why someone would not want to be involved in it.
No, exactly. Because, hey, they don't know how you're going to use their logo. So
yeah. And again, good behaviour might mean that some of these are more inclined to then have their content or have their licenses.
If you want to see more brands,
Club,
then by all, I think, again, no guarantees on this, but if you want to see more participation from the railway companies, show them how great it is. Show them what it means. Make them feel bad for not being involved.
Yeah. Within reason, obviously. Okay, so let's grab some more questions, shall we? Are slogans allowed for licensed content? Oh, that is a question that I don't know the answer to. I would assume that you can't say something like "see it, say it, sorted." You probably couldn't use because it's not on the. I think it's a registered slogan for something like TfL. Or one of the British rail companies that is not on the approved list.
I think if they're on the approved list, then you're probably okay. If they're not, if you're, the ultimate is if you're not sure, don't do it.
Yeah, err on the side of caution if you're not sure. We're not going to give you a release date in the stream. Sorry. We might have a bit more information for you later in the week. But for the time being, we don't have a release date for you. We're still tying up a few final loose ends before we feel comfortable with putting a release date out there. Yeah, a few people are like, I couldn't really think of another slogan in a hurry. Yeah, I can't think of any either, I'm afraid. Can you add comments or instructions for a scenario? Can you? Yeah. Is there any? Cabape asks, can you add anything additional to a scenario to provide any additional information that players might find useful?
Absolutely. That's what the description field is really there for. It's for you to be able to describe the contents and provide a guiding hand as to the people browsing your creations. Tell them how to use what you've created. Absolutely.
There's no changes to Scenario Planner itself, so the actual functionality of the tool isn't changing. But yeah, as Charles says, description's a great place to put a little extra flavour into what you've created.
Yeah, and these won't come with corresponding updates to Livery Designer or Scenario Planner for the foreseeable future, I would imagine. It's not currently on the roadmap. When we do, or when we would look to update those different tools, it'll be on the roadmap. Is there a word count limit or a character limit? Hey, it's Yast165 says.
Yes. I don't know what that limit is off the top of my head.
It's quite long. I mean, some of the
which
beta
implies that it's
testers
quite
have
long,
been
yeah.
creating quite long descriptions. I mean, scroll bar and everything.
Yeah. We're certainly not looking to tie your hands behind your back as you look to shrink your description down to original Twitter character lengths to make it work. So.
I used to be a social media manager, and I became an expert at writing 140 character sentences and bits and pieces. So if you need somebody to do that for you, I will happily volunteer as tribute. But it sounds like that's not going to be a problem. It sounds like there's not a restrictive limit. You should be able to get all the information you need in there. But again, if we do need to change that, it's something we can take a look at in the future. AC's asked, can you upload questionable Japanese anime on the trains like in Forza Motorsport? I think that probably falls under the nudity, sexual content kind of thing that would probably get removed.
Fairly rapidly.
Yes.
We're a family-friendly game, folks.
We are a family-friendly game. People that are asking specific questions, if their particular piece of content will be featured or is able to be uploaded, please read the terms and conditions. Please read the article that we released on Friday, which has got all of the latest information on the approved licenses and licensors that have agreed to be part of Creators Club. That will probably give you the information that you need to know. If they're not on the list or they're not a subsidiary brand of the license that we've mentioned on there, then the likelihood is that they're not on the approved list.
Carlin's asked a one. If you aren't subscribed to a livery, but it is used in a scenario you do subscribe to, what happens when you start the scenario? It actually reverts to the default version of that loco. So in this instance, if I did not have Whiteton downloaded, but I downloaded Whiteton on the grade, I'd just get a CSX AC4400, so the scenario would still play. It just wouldn't be with the liveries that has been designed with. That was one of the things we tested to see what would happen, and it works great.
And just to extend upon that, Matt, what would happen if you were to subscribe to the livery and then play the scenario again?
It should play it correctly. I've not tried that, but there's no reason why it wouldn't pick it up as being there, because the scenario still says, I'm trying to find this, I can't find it. I'll revert back to the default behaviour. It's really cool.
Yeah. I'm just trying to see if we've got many more questions. Pipan Minuta asks, and we're going to hark back to something we talked about earlier, but are all logos going to be in Livery Designer or just logos of some brands? And if yes, which ones? That's going to be we've talked about kind of adding logo decals for some of our approved licenses. It won't be for launch, but we're going to look to kind of drop them as and when we can into Livery Designer, and we'll let you know when that happens. All logos, no, they're going to be the ones that are on the approved list as it stands. We'd love to get, because obviously we for Tyrande Ramper we had the Railpool livery, and obviously that's a really good example of us working really closely with a brand, and then they've said actually, oh yeah, you can include Railpool stuff on Livery Designer. So it's a good example of like how some of the relationships that we've managed to build up over the course of the years that we've been a company have kind of come to fruition here. And the licensing team, big shout out to them, because this has been a bit of a nightmare for them to try and get through. They've done kind of really, really convoluted discussions with some of these licensors, and they've done a sterling job trying to kind of get us over the line and make sure we've got as many on that list, on that approved list, as we possibly can do.
Huge shout out to the licensing team. They've been working really hard on this stuff, and they've turned something that was tried to make the best of what we can with this into actually this is really awesome.
Yeah, and I've lost count of the amount of times I've asked, I think, what are probably quite basic, stupid questions about various different parts of legal and copyright law, and they have been always with a smile on their face, maybe a pitying smile on their face, giving me the answers that I need. Addy asks, what if I'm playing a scenario and the creator removes it as I'm playing it?
That won't delete it while you're playing it. No, I think. Correct me if I'm wrong, Charles. It's kind of one of the main points it does the check is when you go into Creators Club, isn't it?
Exactly. Yeah, we don't want to disrupt anybody's gameplay session mid-session. You'd have to return to the Creators Club for it to check what you should and shouldn't have.
Yeah. Cool. There's a bit of a discussion in the chat about branded, unbranded stuff. You should be able to use unbranded bits and pieces in there. It's just like the copyrighted material that is the stuff that we're worried about. Anything else that we would like to add? Is there anything, guys, that you would like that we haven't already talked about, mention or repeat or talk about for Creators Club? Do we feel like we've covered everything that we wanted to tonight?
I feel like we've covered quite a lot of ground. I'd want to really emphasize how much your feedback is valued and appreciated with this. It is launching as a beta for a good reason. It's going to need further reiterations as we refine exactly what the Creators Club is, how people use it, the kind of content that is there. So just please keep it coming, and I can't wait to get it in your hands.
Crazy Killer says, will others be able to upload a copy of someone else's content? No, because it doesn't appear in any of the livery editor or in the upload system if it's a downloaded piece of content. But that doesn't mean that 3 people can't make a livery and all upload it as original work. If it's who's going to have the first livery of train in a certain livery, then that's just who's going to have it first. But if you create it, you're not going to suddenly find 4 other people download it and re-upload it, pretend it's theirs. That's one of the initial things we wanted to try and prevent was any kind of bad acting like that, and try and make that better. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, there might be a little bit of first to the post with some of this stuff if it's already publicly available. Unfortunately, there's not an awful lot we can do about that, to be honest with you. So we'd recommend that. I feel like I'm probably tempting fate here with Charles and the amount of load that we're going to be putting on Creators Club on launch day. But I would recommend that if you are interested in uploading a piece of your content, to get it up there relatively quickly, just so that there is you know that you've got the original.
Yeah, take those rail fan shots in advance. That's not a new feature to the game. Get those liveries created, refined, reiterated, and then as soon as Creators Club does launch, when it does launch, get that content uploaded. Share.
One thing I will point out, some of you may, because maybe you've not been using Dovetail Live before, may not be logged into Dovetail Live. The key thing is this little green man in the top right corner. If you can see the little green man, you are logged into Dovetail Live and all is good. That means your mastery is working. It means Railfan shots will upload. You're connected. If it says Dovetail Live not connected or something like that, or it's not a green man, then you are not connected to Dovetail Live. Creators Club will not work for you. So in that instance, what you need to do is just pop into your settings, and then down here there'll be a button that says to re-enable Dovetail Live. Press that, shut the game down, restart it, and then sign in. Create an account if you need to, sign in, and do that. And again, do it now, so that if you've got any problems getting logged in, you can speak to our customer support and they can help you get that all sorted through. Yeah.
And Mr. Sheever's asked how thoroughly a livery is going to be checked. Can I make an offensive livery, put black squares over it, then slide it through moderation? What's in place to prevent sneaky liveries with harmful messages? Well, I mean, it's going to be an element of we're going to manually check them. So if you want to put something like up there, it's probably going to get reported pretty quickly and taken down, and we'll probably put a black mark against your name. So, I mean, if you want to do it, you can, but I don't really see the point in doing it because it's going to come down quite quickly. So that's a kind of, I won't say it's a warning, but it's a please use the tool sensibly kind of request from me, because I think it's one of these, we all want this to be successful, we all want this to do really well, and it's going to do that best if everybody uses the tool in the way that it's meant to be used.
Exactly. It means the difference between whether we spend the next several months putting in defensive walls or adding great new features.
Yeah. We'd love to spend less time moderating, more time doing awesome things.
Dr. Bart says, can we get some of the awesome liveries from past contests? I'll pass that one to you, JD.
Well, I mean, it's completely up to the people that upload them, really. We are going to try and encourage as many people who are livery designer experts, who have won previous competitions. They're already trying out. Enjoying it. They're in our beta, I guess you probably call it alpha, maybe. So they're already trying it out and enjoying it. I mean, Matt, you already showed a couple of Sparmy's liveries that he's produced in the past. He's brilliant, as are most of the guys that that have created the content for previous livery designer competitions. And I'm sure that they will be knowledgeable about Creators Club and know that it's coming. So we'd like to be able to make sure that they've got everything that they need to get some of those previous amazing liveries up and running. I'd like to think the one we showed, the one at the start that we showed you, will also be uploaded as well. We'll certainly be nudging people to encourage them to do so.
Definitely, there's some great liveries there. So we know that everyone wants to see them.
So this is an interesting question. Would Dovetail upload liveries to the club? Would we upload our own liveries? And Matt, maybe this is a good opportunity. Do we have Cat's livery to show?
I do.
So some of our team have been uploading their own stuff to this, and one of our what's Kat's title now?
She's assistant producer.
Assistant producer has been creating some really awesome liveries, and we just quickly show you one she's made.
Yeah, she's a heck of an artist. There's some really cool stuff that she's done. This is just one of the ones that she did. This is a full 300 layer.
Beast. And you'll understand why we use the word beast in a second. There we go. Is it? We call it. It's the Dragon Heart livery.
It's the Dragon Heart livery, yeah.
Yeah. She's done an amazing job with that. So, some of the Dovetail team have already got their paintbrushes out and have done some stuff already. And we'd like to think again this is going to be in the actual live version of Creators Club as well for you to enjoy. So yeah, I think that the Dovetail team will flex their respective creative muscles and try and get some stuff on there. I think also we'd like to try and get the Festival of Rail one up there that Nat did for Festival of Rail.
Yes.
In there as well.
Mm-hmm.
Lovely. Okay. I think we've covered a lot of ground tonight, and I think the next stage for this is for everybody to come back on Thursday when we'll be showing this off again. We'll hopefully be tapping into some of the website stuff as we mentioned beforehand, and showing you a few more bits and pieces, hopefully with some more liveries on there that we can that aren't just pink with a white stripe, but a few other bits and pieces.
What's wrong with pink with white stripe, JD?
I'll let you answer your own question, Matt. But we have, I think, answered as much as we can do for tonight. I really recommend that if you haven't done already, please check out the article that we released on Friday, because it has the full list and also some subsidiary brands that you might not know are included within those licenses, as well as the license owners as well, to check out what is and what's currently on the approved list, so you can prepare yourself. Make sure you prepare your liveries and get your Railfan shots ready to go so that you can upload them as soon as you can after launch. And also, as we were talking about earlier, this only works if everybody does kind of what we hope they will do. And the more people that use the tool, create things, and are downloading things from those creators, the more valuable this will be and the more opportunities we'll have to be able to edit it and build on it for the future. So we really recommend that everybody gets involved, even if you're not necessarily the kind of person that would go and spend a couple of hours making a really cool livery. Check out what's on there. You might find something that's really interesting and actually subscribe to 3 or 4 cool things that then make your driving experience on that particular route a really interesting experience, something you've not seen before. And also scenarios that we don't already have in game. That's a no-brainer, really. If you're interested in a particular route, there's probably going to be a scenario in there that you're going to be interested in. So, absolutely, when we come to launch it, we want as many people on there as possible enjoying it. So that's pretty much it for the evening. Thank you very much, Charles. You did a sterling job on your stream debut. Thank you for joining us, because no, it was a little bit last minute.
No, I appreciate the offer, the invites, and I'm so very, very, very glad that it went well.
I think we all are. Thanks very much, Matt. Cheers for the demo, and well done on making sure that it all worked, and everybody's hopefully going to be able to see Whiterton and Pinkerton when we launch. I'm sure they'll be very highly subscribed to liveries.
Top of the list.
Top of the list. Join us again. So we've got the roadmap stream tomorrow with Adam and Nat, and then Nat and Sam will be back on Thursday to showcase the Creators Club again, sandwiched between Jamie doing a Let's Play on GWE later on this week on Wednesday. Thanks very much, everybody, for watching. Any questions, then either put them on the forums thread that we have set up on the suggestions forum for this particular live stream. We'll try and go back and answer some of them in text form if we haven't on the stream, and prepare anything that you want to ask on Thursday's live stream. But if there's nothing else, guys, I'm going to wish you all a lovely evening. Thanks again, Charles. Thanks again, Matt, for joining us. And make sure you kind of tune in for Railfan TV later on this week. Have a wonderful evening, everybody, and we hope you enjoy Creators Club.
Cheers, everyone.
Take care.